Hey friends, good to see you again. Hey listen, today I want to tell you the story of my trip to Miami to meet my future father-in-law. I'm telling you, I get into trouble just about anywhere. And this is one of the earliest times. Now picture back in the early 80s, early mid 80s, probably about 85, 86, probably really about 86, I guess it was. And I was dating my wife, and she decided it was time that I went to Miami to meet her father. So off we go down there, and we were staying at her father's house. They met me with pictures of margaritas, but that's another story that I'm not sure I want to admit to. That'd be my first experience of margaritas. And yeah, we'll talk about that another time. But anyway, the next morning we get up, and my future father-in-law, Ray, he says, "Hey, Jay, I've got to go down to the hardware store in Miramar. Would you like to come with me?" And I said, "Yeah, sure. It's not like I'm doing anything else productive other than just hanging around the house and trying to recover from last night's margaritas." So off we go to the hardware store. What he failed to tell me was that this little hardware store was in a town that was primarily, or in an area that was primarily a Cuban, where they speak primarily Espanol. So he gets to the hardware store, and he says, "Hey, look, I'm only going to be about a minute or two. If you want to come in, fine. If you want to sit out here, fine." And I said, "Well, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to sit out here, and I'm going to enjoy this South Florida sun." And he went on in, and there I sat in his truck, and I got to thinking, and all of a sudden, the urge hit to go to the bathroom. Now, folks, I'm not talking about the urge that says, "Hey, you need to start thinking about it." This was the urge that hit that says, "Hey, you should have went a half hour ago, bro." So anyway, I decided, okay, I'm going to get out. I locked up his truck, and I walked on in the store. And now picture this. Back in the mid 80s, I was young, I was tan, I had the Tom Selleck mustache. I mean, I looked like a Greek god. Well, maybe not. But anyway, I did look like I could possibly pass for being of Hispanic descent. And I walk in, and I'm immediately greeted by a gentleman who greets me in Spanish. So I tell him, I says, "Well, sir, I'm just looking for a bathroom. I need to go to the bathroom." And he looks at me and he goes, "No hablo inglés." And I'm like, uh-oh. Well, I did take 3 years of Spanish when I was in high school, and I thought that I was fairly fluent in Spanish, but all of a sudden, I guess things backing up caused my brain not to be able to recall the proper words for bathroom in Spanish. And I'm looking at him, and I'm going, no habla español. And we're sitting there at an impasse. He knows speak English. I know speak Spanish at this point because my brain just ain't working. But I did remember the cuss words in Spanish that I'd learned. Imagine that. You take all this proper Spanish, and about the only things that are sticking in your head are some of the cuss words. So, being at the impasse we were, I looked at this gentleman and I said, "Donde está la casa de mierda?" Which, for those of you who need some translating, means, "Where is the bleep house?" You can fill in the blank for yourself. All of a sudden, I guess things clicked in for him, and he figured out what it was I was looking for. He goes, "El cuarto del baño." And I go, "Sí, baño." That's the word I was looking for. So kids, I guess the moral of the story is that, even though mom and dad are going to tell you, don't do it, and your teacher going to tell you, don't do it, those ain't proper words to learn. Sometimes, learning the cuss words in a foreign language will come in handy. Hey guys, we'll see you next time. We'll have another story from the Skunk Ape. Ciao.